What's up, Hazz family? It's your boy TremellDHazzard, and I'm here today to bring you guys a THB breakdown on how to be an assist god in NBA 2K17. Now, this tutorial doesn't just work on NBA 2K17. It'll work on 16, 15, and I'm pretty sure it's going to work on 18 as well. Learning how to pass in 2K is not just about hitting double circle or trying to throw lobs every single time if you're a playmaker. You can even throw better dimes with sharpshooters, shot creators, all types of archetypes. You just need to know when to use these passes and when not to use them. I've sat here for a long time trying to be an assist guard, trying to learn how to pass the ball better, trying to get better with understanding passing frames and what I call a green light pass, or quote unquote a frame pass. Now, a lot of you guys are gonna say, well, what the hell is a frame pass? A frame pass is just like in the World NBA. When you throw the perfect pass that your teammate cannot get blocked by their defense or the opposition because you passed it within the perfect frame of them running to the basket or them doing a cut and the defense is stuck in motion, not being able to rotate over to play perfect defense. Now, these passes take a lot of time to get used to. You have to understand when to throw them, how to throw them, and which pass to use when you throw them. Like I said earlier, throwing double circle every single time is not gonna work. And even hitting the X button will make you do a very slow pass, or you do one of those dumb passes where it hits off the back of their bodies, or it'll just go out of bounds, or do something stupid. Each pass has its own ups and its downs, which means pros and cons. Is sometimes you're not supposed to use them, and then there's sometimes you are supposed to use them. All right, let's go over all the passing options that we have in NBA 2K. So we have the triangle button. Press it one time, you can do a lob pass or you can do an overhead pass. You press it twice, you can do an alley-oop pass. Then you got the circle button. You press it one time, you got a bounce pass. Press it twice, you have a flashy pass. And then there's the regular X button, or they call it the tap pass. If you time it correctly, you can tap pass, which means it's a very catch and just quickly throw the ball out of your hands to get it to the open man. That's like what a lot of the Spurs play. Now, I know a lot of you guys are gonna say, well, my favorite pass is the flashy. I'm a playmaker, I should be able to throw flashy passes. Wrong. Not every single pass is required for you to throw flashy just because you're a playmaker. If you guys did not know, the fastest pass in the game is the bounce pass. Now, a lot of people are gonna say, that's a lie, the flashy pass is the fastest. No, it's not. A lot of the best passes in the game are done by bounce passes. If you ever watched the real NBA, bounce passes are some of the best passes, either leading to the basket or catching your man running on a cut so that he can stay within motion or plant his feet correctly and get the shot off.
All the weapons that they possess. Nice feed, Curry. Well, he pushed Rashawn as well. Boy, that was... that pass.
A bounce pass can destroy a defense just because of how great it keeps your people in motion. So if you want to get 5 or 6 assists easy, throw bounce passes, but can't just throw these passes out recklessly. You need to know when to use them and when not to use them. You have to be very cautious with using the bounce pass. Yes, it's a very, very lethal weapon, but within using the bounce pass, you can A, throw the ball off somebody's back, B, literally get the ball stolen because it's one of the easiest passes to steal within the paint, or C, you try to throw a full court bounce pass, that ball is going out of bounds. Your teammate won't be able to react to it because a full court bounce pass is kind of stupid in that situation. Now let's head over to the triangle pass. I know a lot of people don't use the triangle pass because they feel like the overhead pass is the slowest. Yes, it is the slowest. Why? It's an overhead pass or lob pass. The only time you should be ever really using the triangle button is when you're trying to either lob the ball in the paint to your center when he has inside positioning, not outside positioning, but inside position. It's to lob the ball over the defensive player's head to get him the ball so that your big man can score an easy bucket for those post scores or those athletic finishers. A lot of people try to cheat the double triangle. So now you got people that want to throw lobs every 5 seconds. Playmaker to a slasher, playmaker to an athletic finisher, playmaker to a glass cleaner, playmaker to a post scorer. And that's not how you're supposed to actually use the lob pass. There is a fantastic way to get the best animations from either a slasher or an athletic finisher that you've never seen before just by having the perfect timing or just being in a spot to where that player can get enough steps and get the right gather to get a fantastic lob city finisher, and you will be surprised by how many of those lob city finishers you'll get if you learn how to get the timing down. Triangle is also a great pass for those people that don't have break starter. You know how you always hit the X button or you'll press double circle just to throw a full court pass and you'll throw it out of bounds? Well, maybe if you stop trying to use icon passing or X or double circle or bounce passing, if you use the triangle overhead pass, you'll make that pass 10 times out of 10. I don't even have break starter, and I never throw the ball out of bounds. I'm being dead serious. All you have to do is use triangle to throw those full court passes. But there is a hitch with throwing that triangle pass. If you're at the half court line and your man is on the right low box or he's closing in on one of the hashes, if there's a guy on the free throw line, you pressing triangle is not gonna give you a leading pass. It's gonna give you a lob pass, which makes it easy for a player that's 6'8", 6'10" and above to steal that ball. So that would be when it comes to IQ, knowing when and when not to use that full court pass, because it can easily get stolen because it's an overhead slower pass so that you don't throw and turnover. Now I know some of you guys are asking, well Trey, if you're saying that the bounce pass is one of the best passes in the game, I'm a playmaker, Trey. I should be able to throw flashy passes. I'm gonna be honest and say this. I try not to use flashy pass as much as possible. Why? Because there's a such thing as over abusing that pass where your player starts to throw turnovers. Now I know you're thinking, well Trey, how can I throw turnovers if I'm a playmaker and all I'm hitting is double circle? Easy. The moment that you keep throwing flashy passes within passing frames, if you're not timing those frames and you're just throwing them because that's just what you're used to, you're eventually gonna start throwing turnovers. Especially with these guys with 99 reaction times, 99 hands, and lockdown defenders. These guys can easily steal flashy passes. If you haven't noticed, a lot of people are starting to understand that flashy passes get stolen the easiest because all you have to do is just be there in the passing lane. You don't have to really time it. A lot of guys have a passing timing pattern. The moment that they see a guy cutting to the basket, the first thing that they do, flashy pass. That ball gets stolen. It either gets deflected out of bounds or it ends up in that weird animation where they press square. Your teammate doesn't completely go to the ball. He'll kind of like slow down and then the ball just goes out of bounds and then you're going 2K? No, that's you. That's not 2K. That's you. That's you over abusing the flashy pass and not knowing when to throw a flashy pass and when not to. Here's the breakdown on flashy passes. Flashy passes are used to catch the defense off guard by making it seem like you're going to pass it one way, but your guy throws the other direction. So here's a good situation for you. You cross your man over, you get down to the paint. The defender on your teammate helps. So now you have two people in the key guarding. Would you throw a basic pass? No. Before the defender could even get to you, that's when you would throw a flashy pass. The flashy pass makes it so where you catch people off guard and it goes another direction where they didn't think it was going to go. Or you throw a very, very flashy pass to where the defense gets stuck and they can't move because they thought you were going to do something else or pass it to another person. Just like there's a green light for shooting, there is a green light for passing. When you pass to a person in stride, when his arm is directly coming up, you will throw a frame pass, which keeps him in stride. It'll keep him and it'll give him a slight boost to run ahead of his teammates. These frames are really, really easy to exploit, especially for like practice. So say you want to practice these frame passes. The best way to practice it is when you first inbound the ball. If you guys get the ball first, try using the bounce pass and try learning the frame to get the bounce pass. Because if you can get those frames down for that bounce pass, it's the fastest pass. The pass is so fast once you catch them in stride and when you catch them right by the low box. If you can catch them right by the low box or a little bit before the low box, that is the most perfect frame pass that you can throw because there's no way, unless that guy's a lockdown defender or a rim protector, they're going to catch up and block that. So passing the ball right before the low box or right on the low box for big men, because big men are a little bit slower than guards. So for guards, you pass it before the low box. For big men, you pass it right by the low box. It gives them this weird boost, and I'll show you guys. It gives them a weird boost, a weird like push up, and then the defender can't catch up, or he doesn't get the right block animation to stop your teammate from scoring. And this is probably the last part. It's gonna be the grand badge. When you have your grand badge, a lot of playmakers get their grand badge and they go into straight dribble guard mode. Didn't know when you have your grand badge, you can throw any and every single pass and it's almost impossible to steal. I mean, you can throw the most craziest passes. There are some passes that you can only throw with your grand badge. For instance, the out of bounds behind the back pass. You can only throw it if you have your grand badge sometimes. Have you ever been running? You go from the low box and you run up, and then you see your guy cutting. You want to throw him a lob, but then your guy will throw the lob, but then he'll throw it and your dude will do like this, and you're like, what the fuck was that? Well, there's a reason why you did that. You didn't have a grand badge. Grand badge for playmakers, it's the most elite passing situation you can possibly be in. I mean, you can literally throw any bounce pass and it comes out like this. You can throw any flashy passes. I mean, your players get a boost on their shot also, and then from you doing the flashy pass and dimer and pick and roll maestro, all of that gives boost to all of your players on the court. So when you pass the ball to a guy open and you get the pick and roll, you throw a flashy pass and then dimer kicks in, all of that boosts your players' shooting percentages. So when you have your grand badge, instead of using it to be selfish, use your grand badge to get other guys open. It makes winning a whole lot easier, especially if you have your grand badge and he has his. I mean, think about this. You have a grand badge with a sharpshooter. He has his grand badge going. Do you not realize how lethal that tandem is? So I just wanted to break down the basics to you guys about passing. If you guys want to see more, go ahead and hit this video with a whole bunch of likes. If you hit it with a bunch of likes, I'll do the more advanced stuff and I'll show you guys the more cheesy stuff, the reason why I can get 7 or sometimes 10 assists in the game, easy. And you can say people are carrying me all you want to. They ain't carrying me, trust me, because I'm getting them open. They're not getting me open, I'm getting them open. So if you guys want to see more, go ahead and drop some likes on this video. Let me know in the comment section if this helped you or if it didn't help you. If it didn't, I don't know what to tell you, because maybe you just don't have the passing gene in you. Just go ahead and be a dribble guard or ankle guard. Just go ahead and be that. But this for passing is for high IQ players, people that really understand basketball and understand when people are cutting, when people are not cutting, also have a high IQ with their, high communication with their teammates. That also comes into effect too. So I'm your boy TremellD, and yeah, I'm out of here.